everyone, Luis Molina here with Team Elite at eXp Realty. Today we're back with another tip on how to sell your home on your own. I hope that you've been watching our previous tips and that has been able to help you. So today we're gonna get into tip number 5. And tip number 5 is actually one of the most important steps in the process, which is negotiating the offers. Negotiating offers is very important because there's multiple steps throughout the process. Most people think that you only negotiate one time during the transaction. The reality is that you actually have to negotiate multiple times. And what I mean by this is you're going to negotiate, 1, when you obviously have an offer, 2, during the home inspection process, and 3, with the appraisal. So we're gonna get into details in just a second, but this is important, especially at the beginning stage, so like that you don't have issues down the road during the process. It is important to know this because this is gonna help you negotiate through each stage, and it's gonna take you to that closing table successfully. One thing you as a seller or anyone selling their home should be aware of is that any offer is a good offer, and that's good news because somebody's interested in your property. But it is important for you to keep an eye out on properties that are coming up in the neighborhood, any price changes, and making sure if other properties have more leverage than your home. What do I mean by leverage? If the other homes have better amenities, do they have more square footage? What's the price? Are they priced higher than you? Are they lower priced than you? Or are they at the same price? It's important for you to keep an eye on that because that's going to determine how much leverage you have. It's important because this is going to attract the buyer to go with your home or the home down the block. Another thing to keep an eye out is, what if the neighbor down the block is offering a 2% buyer's agent commission? That's also going to turn away the buyer from buying your home and buying that house down the block for sale. So it's important for you as a seller to keep that in mind. I also highly suggest keeping an eye out on market days, because if your home is on the market for 90 days, one, that means you're either overpriced or there's a reason why people are not coming to your home. So it's important for you to find out the average market days of homes in your neighborhood, and like that, it's gonna help you determine the actual price and to see where you stand within the 30 to 90 day period. The second part of negotiating is the offer negotiation. This is important because obviously a buyer who is buying a home is gonna want to know what they are buying. So they're gonna hire a home inspector to come do a home inspection on your home and find things that are done properly and things that weren't done properly, so this buyer could know what they are buying. Yes, it sounds repetitive, I totally understand, but it's important for you as a seller to know how to negotiate this during the process, because this is gonna help you either save money or cause less headaches down the road. So it doesn't matter if your home is the best home, there's always gonna be things that are gonna pop on the inspection report. It doesn't mean that you are 100% liable to do those repairs, or you have to do them, or it's necessary. If you agree to do any repairs, then you just have to make sure that you do them before the final walkthrough. It's important that you know this because this is, again, going to make the timeline so much easier for you and the buyer. Making sure that if you do negotiate some repairs, that obviously you have enough wiggle room for you to either save some money and do the repairs, or you can also give the buyer a credit. It's important that you know how to negotiate this, because if you didn't discuss this with the buyer initially, the buyer could eventually still back out and leave you without a deal, even if this is the only offer you have. So it's important that you discuss anything that you know that is wrong with the house in advance before the buyer moves forward with the home inspection. So one, you don't waste time and do a home inspection and then just find out that the buyer now does not want to move forward. 2, if the buyer is buying the home sold as is, then it's important that you're aware that they're buying it as is, so you're not making any repairs. It's important that you know this because this is going to help you again through the process. The final part of negotiating, and the most important part, is the appraisal. For example, if you listed your home at $500,000 and the appraisal value came in at $480,000, what does that mean for you as a seller? Well, it can mean a lot of things. So I'm going to walk you through what would happen in this scenario and what you would have to do to negotiate the right deal. So again, your appraisal came in at $480,000, your contract price is $500,000. If you did not negotiate an appraisal contingency from the beginning of the negotiation process, then there's a couple of things that could happen. One, the buyer can bring all the money, which is going to cover the gap of $20,000. If the buyer does not want to do that, he has all his rights not to do that. Another option the buyer will have is to bring up to half. So you would have to meet him in the middle as a seller, taking half the loss of the 20 grand so they could bring another 10 grand to the table. The final part of this negotiation would be that you would have to lower the contract price to the appraised value of $480,000 and get to the closing table. If you negotiated a appraisal contingency, then you would have been protected from the beginning. And this is where realtors come in handy, because realtors know what clause to add into the contract, or if you have an attorney, you can speak with them so like that they can protect you and put you in a win-win situation. This is where I come in handy, because we know how to negotiate certain clauses to put you as a seller in win-win situations and protect you in case appraisal gaps happen. And this is tip number 5 on how to sell your home. I hope these tips are able to help you negotiate a little bit better and get you that home sold. Stay tuned for more videos and more tips on how to keep selling your home on your own.